break bread with some of the most interesting industry leaders. I'm Dr. Akua Woolbright, and I'm honored to bring you a very special Beyond the Board episode in celebration of Black History Month. Here at Whole Foods Market, celebrating the diversity of our team members, suppliers, products, and stakeholder community is what makes us special. We ethically source ingredients from around the world, supporting the communities that make the food we sell. And the diversity we fostered at Whole Foods Market is one of our most unique and valuable differentiators. I'm honored to spotlight a founder who is making a difference in his own community in Kansas City, Missouri. Ruby Jean's Juicery founder Chris Goode is driving meaningful change through purpose, wellness, and community while honoring his grandmother's legacy. Ruby Jean's began as a vision to bring fresh, nourishing ingredients to underserved neighborhoods and has grown into a powerful model for how business can create opportunity, inspire healthier lifestyles, and strengthen local community. Chris demonstrates the impact of inclusive entrepreneurship and community-centered leadership, and I'm honored to help share his story and the important work he's doing to shape a healthier, more nutritious future. Enjoy this very special episode, and we'll see you next time on Beyond the Board. Hi, Chris. How are you doing?
Good to see you. Thank you for having me.
Really great seeing you. So we're sitting here in the popular Ruby Jean's Juicery. We have your grandmother's beautiful face looking over us. I noticed on one of your walls, it says, "Love your grandma." And we can't help but to notice her picture prominently displayed on so many of your products. So can you tell me a little bit about what she means to you and how she inspired this juicery?
You know, my mom is a single mom early on, raising 4 babies. Started having babies when she was 16 years old. I'm the last of those 4. And so having children that early in life, already with limited resources, you know, it makes things hard. And so my grandma stepped up, you know, she stepped up very firmly, very fluidly, and very graciously. And she was that backbone that my mom needed.
You know, my mother was a young unwed mother, and I was raised by my grandparents, so I relate to your connection to your grandmother. How did that connection to her lend to you opening up a juicery in her name?
Just missing her, you know, just wanting to hug her, wanting to be in her presence. We lived not far to the east, and we would take the bus over here, and I went to daycare, you know, at Operation Breakthrough, and so I get to impact those children today. And this building we walked into with my grandmother, and my grandma worked a few blocks to the west, and so this is home. It's very important to me that as God has afforded me opportunity to have a voice, to have a posture of respect and dignity in this community, that I don't take that posture and that dignity and just run away with it, but that I use it to impact the very place that helped craft me. And so it's everything to me.
I love that. So it seems like your reverence to place and location is part of what drives you and keeps that fire burning in you.
You know, we left here. We were kind of tricked into thinking that home wasn't enough. You know, because the school systems were one thing, the violence was another thing, the drugs were another thing, prostitution, and so on and so forth. And so we fled, you know, seeking more. But now as an adult, I realized that, we get the opportunity to improve what's innately ours.
There's so much empowerment in that, like reclaiming space and taking up space.
Absolutely.
Like, no, I belong here. We belong here. And taking ownership of that.
Absolutely.
That's so incredible.
Thank you. And it's, you know, it in taking up that space, it could be easy to then say, hey, if you aren't like us, stay out. But I think the power is in saying, yes, we are going to take up space, and you're welcome in that space.
Exactly. This is the such at the core and the center of the work that we know as diversity, equity, inclusion. Inclusion is part of that work. Sometimes we think about the equity and we may take up space and just kind of hold it so very close, but then to open that back up for others to participate in it is really beautiful.
Yeah, it takes some vulnerability and some faith.
I think back to some of the work I've done in low-income communities, and I don't know if you've heard things like this, but I know I was told oftentimes by people who don't look like me that a plant-based message or juicing and salads wouldn't work in certain communities because our community, doesn't eat kale and we don't drink green juices. So do you see your work as being part of a larger resistance or a movement to really connect people back to healthy food?
For me, freedom is really what we're after. It's what I'm after, the freedom to learn, the freedom to explore, the freedom to feel, the freedom to know, the freedom to be, the freedom to be safe and be okay just as I am. And that freedom, it has to venture through us first. And so that resistance, while resistance is viewed as something that it's an externality, it's really internal. Like resistance to the things that we've always known, the ways that we've always been, the ways that we've always talked, the things that we've always watched, and the things that we've always eaten, and the drinks that we've always had before us. And so to be able to resist what is generationally tied to our very being is difficult.
I love what you did just there. You took the concept of resistance and you expanded it, right? When I think about resistance, I think, to your point, resistance to something external to ourselves. But there's a lot of belief systems and the ways we approach food, what we consider to be good food, that you can help break down those barriers within people's own thinking.
We cannot be free if we're not healthy, because it doesn't matter how far you travel, what car you arrive in, what your house looks like, what your title is. If you're unhealthy, your reality is stark, it's grim. It's not gonna lend itself.
And Ruby Jean's Juicery gives you the drinks and the food to support you along your journey.
Absolutely.
So that's a beautiful thing. So to share some obstacles and challenges you've had to face. And second part of that question, do you think that's different for people from our communities trying to do this type of work?
And I think the biggest obstacle is not being surrounded by belief. Not being surrounded by a blueprint, not having a trenched out pathway to walk on, having to lay every single brick, and the people surrounding, because of their own circumstances and their own realities, putting doubt into my heart. So that was the very first obstacle. And then the natural obstacles after that is a lack of capital. In order to start, I started in a 700 square foot space and I put every single dime into it. And I didn't have any support. I had a couple of friends that lent me some money and I paid them back. I had 2 credit cards that I would charge up and pay them off and charge them up and pay them off. I destroyed my personal credit.
Yes.
I knew that I couldn't take this concept and walk into a bank and say, "Hi, Mr. Banker. I want to start this very noble business, and this is why, and this is where, and this is how, and this is all of the natural research that I've done," and be presented with a loan. I knew innately that that wouldn't be my reality. And so I had to do it anyway. I had to do it the hard way. And it's still doing it the hard way and finding comfort and ease in the hard way. But we still got work to do. And that's a part of the reason we need to be here, because the more we're here and the more we change the standard, the more we insert my grandmother's essence and our faith into this community, that will dissipate. But we have to be bold enough to stay here in the midst of it.
It's a movement. It's part of the resistance. It's part of the change you want to see for people's lives, for this community. It's bigger than juice. I see that when I speak with you. It's so much bigger than juice. I want to end the conversation the way we started it. We started talking about your grandmother. And so what do you think Ruby Jean would think about your accomplishments and to know that her name and her face is at the center of it?
I wish I knew. I wish I knew. I wish I could hear her voice. I wish I could hug her. I wish she would tell me what she thinks. I think she'd be proud. I really do. I think she'd be like a little bit like, boy, get my face down from there. But I think she would be so proud. Yeah. I think she would. And to see our family out there and us coming back together, because our family, when she passed, it's never been the same. Yeah. And that's in 1999. And so to have our family coming together around something that celebrates her and something that she didn't know anything about I can't believe God gave me this opportunity.
To honor her in such a way. And now she gets to travel through all these states.
Places she's never been.
Places she's never been, and be in all these stores. If she could say something to you right now, I'm sure she would tell you that she's so super proud of you. And I'm just so very grateful that we had this conversation. And I'm happy that I got to learn more about you and Miss Ruby Jean. So thank you so much for this time. I appreciate the interview.
Thank you. Man, y'all gonna have me all cried out. I'm about to be somewhere laid out.